We're going to talk about how all the new gear has improved your workflow.
Oh, hi.
Oh, hey. I didn't know you were here. It seems like just yesterday we were looking at your setup for the very first time on camera, and we were talking about everything.
That was December 16, 2022.
Wow, that seems like just yesterday, but apparently it's been more than a year and a half. That's a lot of time passed. I mean, has anything in your setup changed since then, Josh?
It has. Since we recorded Show Me Your Setup, episode 1, things have changed. And I'm really happy that you're here to geek out with me. I'm happy that we have our audience here.
That's a lot of episodes, actually, when you think about it. 13 back to 1. That means we've done 13 episodes of Show Me Your Setup together. And we're bringing around full circle for a return to your setup because I was inspired the other day. I said, you know what? I just spoke with another one of our guests and she's changed her setup and she'd be willing to show the changes of her setup. And you said, hey, I've changed my setup. And I said, you know what, folks, maybe you want to retour all of the things we've seen in the past, lickety split or nice and slow. So we're going to do this two ways. One, really fast, all through everything. And two, that's 4 when you hold your fingers up like this, or peace. Victory signs, as my spin instructor Gary likes to say, victory. So we're going to do it nice and slow. We're going to talk about how all the new gear has improved your workflow. Let's start with ergonomics. Before, did you ever find that you were up and down, you get a neck strain? Or maybe your arms were... These things, over the long haul, they can have an effect on somebody.
I had a 27-inch monitor above my giant 32-inch monitor. And that was like taking up the room. We work with a lot of audio here. I would mainly put scripts up there to follow along with the audio. And I try to use my eyes, but you do have to, bend your neck a little bit. And that's bad. Head. It
does. Over time, that gets a little strain in the back of the neck.
Yep. I actually responsibly recycled that at Staples. Did you know Staples takes monitors?
I love the Staples Responsible Recycling Initiative because I can get all the old equipment that I was just leaving on the floor. I had nowhere to take it, no way to get rid of it. I bring it in there. They say, thank you. Come again. They even give you some kind of credit. I don't even know what that's for.
I tried to solely use the 32-inch monitor. I set up zones and moved the script to one side, had the editor to one side, and then I wanted my chat in one side. Didn't leave a lot of space for the main attraction, which is the editor. So I got to thinking, hey, I have this portable monitor that is sitting there, not plugged into anything. It's a 15.6-inch portable monitor. The brand is QQH. It's one of those brands that you'll only find on Amazon. You won't find an official website for this company. But it's the Z12. It's a 15.6-inch Type-C portable monitor. I hooked it up to my setup using USB-C to the computer's USB-C port. And it powers it. And I have my 1080p, I think 60 hertz picture. So it's good. I put that directly under my giant monitor. So instead of a second monitor up top, it's below and it's at an angle.
I'm going to have to ask a question because we're recording a podcast right now and we're using our nice microphones. Is your microphone blocking your view of the second monitor?
No.
Wow.
Not at all.
Amazing.
Full view.
So you have 2 monitors. And judging by the picture quality, I think there's been an upgrade in terms of your camera, which is still located above the monitor. So you have a direct line of sight and of speech, and yet you can see both monitors right now.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Nice.
The mic boom is right here, and it is just out of the way of the lower left corner of the 32-inch monitor.
Nice.
And hands are free to type on the keyboard as well and use the mouse. So
if I had a monitor below my primary monitor, it would be blocked by the mic right now. That's why I have one off to the side. My setup hasn't really changed that much. I still have the full width, just like you can see in episode 8 of Show Me Your Setup. Available everywhere podcasts are available. My favorite way to guide people in to see our previous episodes in their entirety, the whole bulk, is either to go to the YouTube channel. That's the one. But if you just want to go to the website and see more content than you'd even get on YouTube, you can go to gomodpod.com/podcast/archive and see all of the episodes in one place. You can learn all about the services we provide to help businesses build branded podcasts. As you were saying, Josh, when I rudely interrupted with a sales pitch.
I think I thought of the idea of putting a smaller monitor under my main monitor from like browsing Reddit, the setup subforum specifically. And I saw folks, maybe a 45-degree angle. I don't even have to lower my head. I can just lower my eyes. And I've got my script right there. So I knew what angle I wanted, and I knew how I would use it for work. But I couldn't find a stand that gave me that angle in that position. I'm on my third stand right now, and this is a little gem. It's the Amazon Basics multi-angle portable stand for iPad, tablet, e-reader, and phone. And what I love about it is you can adjust it from totally flat. So it could be laying flat on your desk. And in that case, I don't know why you'd need a stand, but all the way from flat to an upright position where you'd normally want your phone or tablet when it's sitting on your desk. So I have unlimited angle adjustments, and it's a really small footprint, so it doesn't mess with anything else that's on my desk, namely my split keyboard and the wires. And I'm just thrilled to have it in this position. But Dan, do you know what I've been thinking about?
But wait, there's more.
Wouldn't it be amazing to have a script on my desktop like that, so close to my keyboard and my hands, and just be able to touch and nudge and slide it up a little bit, or slide it down, or slide it to the left, slide it to the right, slide those Excel cells wherever I wanted them. You mean if it was a touchscreen? I would love. So that's, unfortunately, Dan, this is on my radar now. A portable monitor touchscreen. Like, the size is great. The 15.6 inches is great. The aspect ratio is nice.
Couple of quick questions this brings up. One, I believe in your initial testing of the dual monitor minus the 27-inch, you temporarily used your laptop.
Yes.
And A, why did you stop? And B, is that laptop a touchscreen?
It's not a touchscreen.
Okay.
I didn't have a really nice monitor arm that I could really move it around. I had kind of a stationary stand, and I didn't like that it got in the way of my speaker. Probably no big deal. I probably couldn't even hear the difference, but...
You could have put the laptop right where you have your little screen.
That's right, right in the middle.
Somewhat infinitely adjust that angle as well.
Yeah.
However, then you'd have a keyboard constantly gathering dust.
Mm-hmm.
And aesthetically, it's just not the same.
That's right. Yeah, if that laptop folded backwards like a tablet, that could have been good, yeah. Especially
if it had a touchscreen.
Exactly.
Because now that you've thought about the touchscreen, because as I think about it, I have my laptop off to the side, and it does have a touchscreen, and it is nice to be able to just move things around as if I was moving things with my hand instead of my mouse or my Nulia trackball or whatever I used.
And the other reason I didn't love the laptop where it was because the bezel of the laptop didn't perfectly line up with the bezel of my big monitor. And because I didn't have a fully articulating arm, I couldn't really line it up, and that just didn't work for me. And a third reason is the smaller second screen in the position that it's currently at allows me to move my laptop, my work laptop, out of the way, off of my desk, and into the Kallax cube storage. So I'm real happy with that.
I was thinking about the space considerations that have changed with regards to your desk and the placement of everything, because recently I know that when you were changing out the monitors, you also said you gained a little bit of real estate in the room. So what's changed in your setup?
Both of the monitors were on articulating arms, and the way that they were positioned, clamped to my desk, the elbow of the arms
took up some space.
Yeah, they were bent. So that bent elbow takes space. When I got rid of the tall arm that held both monitors, I used a shorter arm, put it to the left of my desk, and then just straightened out both of those arms. So it's kind of straight behind the 32-inch monitor. And so I gained a couple inches. I pushed my desk back and gained a couple inches.
It's always nice to gain a little more breathing room in the workspace.
Yeah, and I've got a cramped area, and my wife is often walking past behind me. And I always have to shove my chair in. So. This is real life here, working from home.
Well, we could go in any direction, but I think we should focus on the visual change because you've added a different camera to your setup for now. And what prompted that change?
You don't want to know, Dan. It's so...
All right. I think it was the fact that you had one that would work and you wanted to try it out. That's where I'm going to go with this.
Okay.
If I had a nice camera that would also work as a webcam, I might consider putting it into this setup so that I could change depth of field, focus, a lot of different things.
Yeah, so I like to take pictures and shoot video. And so I recently got a hybrid mirrorless camera. It's the Canon EOS R8. It is an inexpensive full-frame camera. And yeah, it has video, and I wanted to check it out. But the real reason is that when I was messing around with my setup, when I was removing my upper monitor, my 27-inch, something fell and scratched my webcam.
So that little distortion area was a scratch on the lens?
Yeah. Yeah. I tried to clean it.
Buff it out and it didn't work?
Yeah. So I'm like, this is the perfect time to test the DSLR and figure out how to do this. The camera battery is going to drain in a mirrorless camera, especially a mirrorless camera.
Yes.
So we know that I had to get a dummy battery, which I already had. So that dummy battery goes where your normal battery goes and then attaches to an AC adapter, which plugs in. So I'm getting constant power now. And then it's just USB-C to USB-A to my switcher. This is like a 2-computer USB switcher, Dan, that you have as well. So I can share this camera with my personal computer and my work computer. And I tested both, and it's working fine. It keeps up. It looks like there isn't a bottleneck in the USB connection. So you have to turn the camera into webcam mode, and then it outputs 1080p 60 frames per second video. And the difference is nice. I like it. The other cool thing that I do with the camera is I have it in AV mode, so that's aperture priority. So I lock it into f4. I also have set the shutter speed. I have the ISO on auto, so that can be constantly adjusting no matter what's going on. If a light turns on or off, if clouds move across the sky, if it suddenly gets dark, the ISO is going to auto adjust and keep the exposure that looks best for my face. So hopefully you don't see a lot of adjustment with light throughout this video.
On your side. On my side, it's probably constantly changing because I have the natural light coming in from out there, and it is a cloudy day.
But your camera auto adjusts as well. Your webcam
does
auto
it
adjusts.
now?
Yeah.
Shame.
I believe so, Dan. Unless
might.
you've locked in exposure.
I have no idea.
Uh-huh.
That's like technical stuff. That's way over my...
Yeah. So I'm really pleased with having the mirrorless camera up there.
I have the white balance on auto, but the brightness is fixed, so I'm not sure.
Oh, the brightness is fixed. How about exposure?
There is no exposure in my
How about
settings.
gamma?
Gamma is fixed at 120. Oh wait, exposure is auto. Now it's off. Now we can see chaos. There we go. All right. And this is when I control the exposure. So Josh, what kind of lens is on your camera?
It's the Canon RF 24 to 105 millimeter f4L lens, which is an upper tier of Canon lenses. IS, so it has a image stabilization in the lens. USM, that stands for ultrasonic motor. So it's fast focusing and quiet.
Is it zoomed as far back as it can be?
No.
So it's zoomed in somewhat.
Yeah, it's not at the widest angle.
So you could pull back even now and have a much wider angle shot.
Yes.
Okay.
One of my favorite things about the Canon R8 is the autofocus system. It shares the same autofocus system with a much more expensive Canon camera. And so right now it's just set to lock on my eyes. So
what happens if you move your head to the side?
Yeah, all the way. So it's using the entire frame.
Okay.
And I did customize all that, Dan. I made sure I could be anywhere in the frame and it was going to lock to my eyes. So that's
what
pretty
happens when you
amazing
close your eyes and start moving your head around?
Okay.
What about further back? Because obviously the focus. And when you open your eyes, what happens? that refocus in your eyes all of a sudden, and who can tell?
When I close my eyes, then it should just kind of put a box around my face and grab my head.
Okay. So you have a new camera on your setup. How have you connected it to the desk?
Had to get a new mount. It's so similar to the one that's holding my light right now. But this is Small Rig, which is a reputable camera accessory company. So it's the Small Rig camera desk mount table stand, adjustable light stand, 15 to 35 inches, tabletop C-clamp for DSLR camera.
That's just a nice straight little stand. Nothing super fancy.
Yeah, and so the first day I got it, I realized, I have to screw my camera in, or screw something to the bottom of my camera, screw the ball head to the bottom of my camera, but then I would have to screw that into the stand. So I'm going to be turning around my camera, how many times? At least 10 times.
Well, can't the screw be turned and you just into the camera?
Yes.
But I understand what you're saying. You'd have to screw and unscrew your camera each and every time.
Yes. Because
you didn't have a quick release mechanism.
So I had to invest in that. Yeah. That is another good company, Ulanzi, Ulanzi, Claw Quick Release Kit, Generation 2. And they are not kind of an under-the-radar Chinese company that you'll only find on Amazon. They're a really cool company that makes camera accessories, kind of like Small Rig, but they really fulfill some niche or niche applications for folks with video especially.
Did you find that while you were purchasing the Ulanzi, you went ahead and got 2 base units so you could move the camera from one stand to another quickly?
Geez, no. But they do sell them separately.
I think you mean, geez, not yet. Because you're going to want to put one of those on your everyday tripod, I would think. Maybe you don't use a tripod every day.
No, that's a great idea. It's a great idea. I have a quick release plate for my tripod. But yeah, I'll think about it. In buying this quick release kit, it had to have a 1/4-inch threaded screw that would go into the ball head of the stand.
Okay.
So it doesn't fit a certain tripod model, for example. It just has a thread. It'll fit in any 1/4-inch hole. Push a button, release it. Clamp it down again when you want it. I will be frequently using the camera in my photography and video endeavors, but for the most part, it will just stay mounted and I'll use it for work.
Let's do a little rap about who we are and why we're here. We're Show Me Your Setup. I'm Dan. This is Josh. Today, we're revisiting Josh's setup because we haven't seen it since December of 2022. He's showing us all the new stuff and seeing some of the old stuff as well, as evidenced in all these photos that we've been parading throughout the episode.
And at ModPod, we help businesses create podcasts. Really an amazing way to hold your customers' attention and connect with them in a way that you can't do through any other sort of advertisement or social media or really any other kind of engagement. As long as you're producing great content and you gain your listenership little by little, you have a captive audience that can be with you for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes plus. So at ModPod, we help businesses conceive, actually record their podcasts, and then we do the editing and help them publish and help them promote after the fact.
Obviously, Josh and I are very excited about the video aspect of podcast because that's where we dabble. But the audio component is highly relevant because a lot of people are commuting to work. And while they're commuting to work, their eyes might have to be on the road where they're driving, but their ears are available. And as Josh said, this long-form content, you have the listener's attention for an extended period of time. Now, if you're talking about something that's very relevant to their business needs and they're on their way to work, they're thinking about your message while they're heading into work. When they get to work, they can act on the things that you have spoken about. They can take your advice and put it into use immediately. So it's this getting into your customers' heads for an extended period of time and giving them solutions that they can implement immediately. It's a beautiful win-win.
If you are at all interested, visit us at gomodpod.com. Our Twitter is at gomodpod. Our Facebook is facebook.com/gomodpod. As we mentioned, all our videos are on YouTube, youtube.com/@gomodpod. Should we get back into the setup?
Did you want to talk about the new look on your headphones?
Yeah, sure.
Josh and I are both sporting the same Audio Technica ATH 50, M50X, M50X. They're the M50s. We should just call them the M50s. Yeah, if I do that, it doesn't show anything because I took all of my fuzziness off because
Yours are well loved.
The headphones pill up. You see how it's all pilled up? It's all... I've plucked all the little stuff off because it was just... I'd get out of work and it was here and it was up here. Yeah. And so, the kids have always called it headphone head. And it's not just the hair, but it's also the little bits that get left behind that mark you as a old school headphone wearer. Yeah. However, one thing you can do to not only improve the cushion factor on your head, but also the look is buy replacement ear pads.
Is that something you're looking to do?
Not only looking to do, I've already done. They just have not arrived yet.
All right.
If we recorded this episode tomorrow or the next day, things might be different up here.
What ones did you get? Tell us about them.
A different pair.
Yep.
That aren't here yet, so I'm not going to review them until I've tried them on.
Are they black?
No.
Oh.
That'd be ridiculous. That'd be boring. When we have a whole palette of options in front of us, why would we choose basic black? This isn't Henry Ford in the Model T. This is ear pads for audio professionals who like their setups.
I got the SolWit cooling gel replacement ear pads. And this is a company that you can only find on Amazon. They are not expensive. It's a great way to update the look and the comfort of your headphones. And supposedly they'll last longer than the stock ear cups / ear pads. These have a soft cooling gel under the top layer of fabric. The company says that your old ear pads negatively affect the sound quality of your headphones. Well, our precisely modeled ear pads will not affect the sound performance of your headphones and make your headphones look brand new again.
I mean, I'm just going to go out on a limb and say that's crazy talk because no headphone manufacturer is going to set headphones into the marketplace with ear pads that degrade the quality of the audio. But hey, I'm not trying to mess up a marketing pitch here. I think what they might be suggesting is that over time, as the cushion fails in the old headset, it gets less comfortable and maybe pressed against the ears a little more. And so maybe that decreases the je ne sais quoi. It decreases
Sure.
the experience, the overall enjoyment level is what I'm trying to come up with here. And so perhaps having new, softer, thicker, more plush, actual cooling will enhance the experience and make it more pleasurable. But what do I know? I'm still on the old ones.
I went with a purple pattern to increase my enjoyment. Purple's my favorite color, so I had to get those.
That's why I have a purplish pink going on back here. Just to enhance your headphones. I didn't do it for the Emerson episode alone.
Since we're on the visual, let's talk about what I did to my light. So I have this narrow vertical light. It's called a light wand. It's the Savage RGB Light Painter Pro LED wand. Had that in episode 1, but now instead of a plastic single-use shopping bag, I've double diffused it.
Instead of or in addition to?
Instead of throwing a shopping bag over it, which looked really crappy, I've thrown my white t-shirt over it.
Nice.
Wrapped it around twice, so it's double diffused. I have a double diffusion panel on this, so I get softer light. Plain white t-shirt secured with Velcro ties. So
okay. I love the artistry in the wrap. The way you've just wrapped it around and then that's just
thanks,
magical. Magical.
Let's drop out the light, and then the camera will the camera auto adjusts. But the light just adds in some light on the right side of my face, which isn't particularly lit up with the way the sun usually is outside my windows. So that's why I have the light where I have it, and hopefully it's all right.
I don't know about you folks, but I find it's best to ignore the image of me on the camera because if I stare at it too much, then I stare at it too much. So sometimes I wish I could just turn off the view of me and only see the people I'm talking to.
Yeah.
Not sure if that's an option in this software. I haven't seen it, but that could just be me. But yeah, it'd be nice if I could just slide myself off so I'm not distracted by myself. I guess I could put a document in front of me. There we go. Now I can't see myself anymore. I don't know if I'm getting too close anymore.
You're just
Am I
fine.
still on camera?
Yep,
I don't even
still
know.
good.
All right. I think I said I was going to do the episode from over here. Hang on. All right. So, let's see. We've gotten past the T-shirt. As I look at this image that I'm right now looking at the full spread of your desk and everything, is that a new pop filter
Yeah.
that I see? What prompted you to change your pop filter? Why do you need a new pop filter, Josh?
It was bulky. It got in the way. It had like a neck, like a bendable neck.
Okay.
The pop filter itself was kind of big and round. And I'd just seen this newer style. It's like sleeker, and I've seen a lot of YouTubers with it. And it can basically fit on almost any microphone, except it is specifically not for the Blue Yeti. It's the Pemotech or Pemotech, P-E-M-O Tech pop filter. And it is one of those probably Chinese brands that is the same product. Different brands license the design, if they license the design, and sell it. So you can find this on Amazon. It is very inexpensive. And they say it's a 3-layer design. They say it includes a foam layer, a metal net layer, and basic etamine or etamine. Have you heard of that, Dan?
Really? It's made of what now? Metal mesh in a plastic frame? 3 layers? Foam layer, metal net layer, and basic etamine. Etamine. No, I don't know what that is.
Hopefully it's working all right. I don't hear a lot of popping.
Oh, okay. Etamine is a loosely woven fabric with a similar structure to voile or a mesh. So that's what etamine is. It's a fabric layer. Foam, metal, and fabric. That's beautiful. So elegant. Oh, I'm way off camera. Somebody should have told me. All this time, I'm sitting over there.
That's
I couldn't
right,
see
'cause
myself.
you can't see yourself.
Oh, I can now. I pulled the document away for a second and I realized that I'm way off camera. Well, we were talking about the Pemotech pop filter available from Amazon, probably manufactured overseas, definitely not manufactured in my house because I don't have any metal mesh manufacturing facilities on-prem. None. If people want to put one in, we can talk. I've got a little bit of space in the yard. We can set up a shop. Just a little.
Why don't we continue down the chain and talk about what I did with my USB audio interface? It's the Motu M2. It was previously sitting on the desktop in episode 1. Now it is mounted under the desk, just to my left, with Velcro tape, and it's cable managed. And it's more accessible to my 3-year-old. First, the microphone plugs into a preamp, DBX 286A. It's no longer in production, but DBX still has it up on their website, so you can learn more about it. And quickly, it's a wide-ranging input gain control, switchable 48-volt phantom power, 80 hertz high-pass filter, patented over-easy compressor, frequency tunable de-esser, high-frequency detail control, low-frequency detail control, expander gates, separate threshold, and ratio controls.
I like the DBX line. I'm rocking the 166 over here with a little bit of the over-easy compressor as well. It was after you put yours in your signal chain that I was like, wait, I've got one sitting on the rack over here I'm not even using. Yep. And so I plugged it in, and after a while of saying that works pretty well, I said, well, I'm tired of having it over here with cables dangling in my... So I put it under my monitors, and now it's right there on the desk. So yeah,
that's where
DBX, let's go.
I want to open it up to the listeners. Check out the photos. Go to our YouTube channel. If you happen to be listening to the audio version, check out the video version. Look at where I have mine, and Dan's would be in a similar placement. What should I do with that? Should I do anything else to it? Because it is a piece of rack equipment that's sitting on a desktop. So I would love anyone's opinion.
I'm saying you go ahead and build a little box around it with a drawer underneath, because it's always fun to have a drawer that you can't quite open because it runs into things. Speaking from experience, yeah, that's not the best place for a drawer. Now, if it was a drawer over it, that might work better. So a couple of blocks of wood on the side with a little shelf over the top and a drawer in there that you can put equipment in if you needed to. Maybe not. Maybe you could have some extra RGB lighting underneath it, rocking a little glow so that you know it's there.
I'm not a builder, but Does anyone in the listening audience know of a turnkey product that this could maybe just slide into? Something to house a single rack component that's not very deep at all. It's probably 6 inches deep. Dan, why do you like having a microphone processor in your signal chain?
So I can talk soft and loud and have it take care of the difference.
Yeah.
Also because with the gate adjusted, some of the small noises don't get picked up. And so less annoying sounds from my workspace bleed into the conference calls.
I like the idea of having good audio in video conference meetings with my coworkers or, business partners and customers. I think it's cool. It's like you show up and you're already at another level.
Yeah. Once you've adjusted everything, kind of a set it and forget it situation. If the power's on, you sound good and you're clear.
Yeah.
And if you don't, somebody can point out, hey, I think your webcam's doing your audio. Like, dang, you're right.
We're coming to the end of the video. And
are we?
We're coming to probably the most exciting part, the thing that's really changed the most for me.
All right, you want to talk about ergonomics that's changed your life for the better and made you experience true joy every day, a sense of openness.
Yes,
a sense
it feels
of
like it. I have the Digma Defy split keyboard, and as I told Dan in episode 9 of Show Me Your Setup, I had waited so long for it, like months and months and months. I had pre-ordered, and yeah, it opens up your posture. Your hands are 1.5 feet apart, I'd say. Your shoulders are opened up a bit. And you have to learn a new way of typing, especially because it has ortholinear keys. The keys are directly above each other and not staggered like a typical QWERTY keyboard. So this is all a learning curve. 16 thumb cluster buttons. So you're doing different functions with your thumbs instead of on other parts of the keyboard.
And layers that you've yet to even delve into.
Correct.
And what I mean there, folks, is literally different layers within the same keyboard. He could program the second layer down to be completely different keys. And there's more than just 2 layers. Kind of an infinite palette upon which to paint? No. Anyways, my analogies are for the birds. But that keyboard is the bomb. Speaking of that keyboard, yes, we did feature it in episode 9 of Show Me Your Setup. So once again, we're referencing the previous episodes that are available in the archive, if you're curious.
Along with the split keyboard, I added a mouse, and it's the M506 wired trackball mouse. So this thing basically stays in place. You don't move it around like a mouse. Instead, you move your thumb on a trackball. I'd call it a medium-sized trackball. So your thumb is on the trackball. Your other 2 fingers are resting on the left and right mouse keys. Your middle finger can do the scroll wheel. And then there's a lip at the bottom of the mouse for the underside of for the right side of your pinky and the bottom of your hand to rest on. And as I talked about like crazy in episode 9, this setup puts your hands in a handshake position, and I'll show you again. Instead of like this, you're like this. And that has helped me out so much. I no longer have pain in my hands, wrists, elbows, and most of the shoulder pain is gone too.
It's so handy. He wrote a blog about it. Link below.
So if you are experiencing any kind of pain like I described, I really suggest that you check out peripherals input devices that put your hand in that more of that handshake position than flat.
Solid advice for anyone who uses a computer for a living.
My son is, a reasonably competitive gamer, not like Maggie, who was interviewed in episode 13 for her affiliation with Emerson College and the e-gaming side of things, Emerson Esports. But he likes to put in hours with his friends. So I wish he would start thinking about ergonomics. He's not going to until he gets older and his hands or wrists start bothering him. But he does use my machine for editing sometimes, for video editing. And he has me drop down the left side of the keyboard.
So he does it like this.
Yeah, so at least he's getting the benefit with his right hand on my mouse, on the vertical mouse. If I can evangelize about anything these past couple of years, it would just be think about ergonomics in your setup. And I know Dan's on the same
So
page.
I've seen some of these split keyboards that also, in addition to like the thumb clusters, they have other modules you can put on, such as a trackball module on the keyboard itself.
Yeah. I've
Would
seen
that
them
be of
more
any
as well.
interest to you?
Yeah, I'd be interested, Dan. I just spent a ton of money on this keyboard, though, so I better keep this for several more years.
Well, that's true. However, if you found yourself forced to upgrade because of convenience and other reasons, part of your evangelizing could be, hey, Roland, here's a split keyboard. You can adjust it as you get used to it.
Yeah.
And then by the time he's graduated high school, he's typing like this.
Yeah. Yeah. Dan, I want to thank you so much for spending the time with me geeking out over my setup. I always appreciate that you are into setups and specifically my setup. So thank you for all the support. And I thank our listeners and viewers for checking it out too. Any suggestions you have, I would love them. You can email showmeyoursetappodcast@gmail.com. You can also post a comment on our YouTube channel right under this video. We will definitely interact with you there. And then I would like to put out a call to action. If any folks want to be in the position I've just been in, where I've been able to share photos and talk about the equipment, get in touch with us. Just tell us what you're into, tell us a little bit about your setup, and then just send us a photo or two. And maybe you can appear on our show.
Shout out to everybody who loves DBX, audio processing, compressors.
And once again, if you are interested in ModPod and the things we do for businesses that want to start their own branded podcasts, go modpod.com. Visit us, send us an email, let us know you're interested.
You're seeing us on episode 14, wrapping it up.
All right, I'm ascending to heaven.
I guess I'm going the other way. Wait, that is ascending to heaven.
Yeah.
Look out, people. Save yourselves.